wouldn't want the business to be just about looks and makeup.
Yeah.
How do you find, how do you manage to incorporate both? What's your process? How do you help women to feel good inside and outside, to heal inside and outside through makeup and clothing? Hello, everyone. Welcome to
I don't
another
want this
episode of
filter. This is crazy.
Conversations with Sharika. My name is Sharika Swaby, and this evening I have the lovely Claire Chen with us. She is an image consultant, right? And we all have, most of us here have businesses on social media, whether that's just being an influencer or we actually have services and products that we offer. And that involves an image, whether it's your brand image or it's your face image or whatever kind of image it is. Whenever we step out here in social media, we are creating an image, building an image. So this evening, Claire is going to break that down for us and show us and tell us and give us instructions and let us know how we can show up as our best selves. So, Claire, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, so for those who have never met me, so my name is Claire. So I'm an image coach and style and color and brand expert. And I'm passionate to help female entrepreneurs who are ambitious and career driven, but they're really struggling of like showing up to gain the visibility and really struggle with the identity and personality. And they want to be seen, they want to be heard, but they just don't know how. So I have really found my missions. I really want to help women CEO, small business owner, or female entrepreneurs really to help them to become the leader of who they are meant to be, and help them to project in the image, and then they can show up online with more confidence and really align who they are from the moment when they're showing up, the way how they dress, and projecting their image and to attract the right tribe. So that's really who I am and what I do. And I kind of just gonna give you a little bit of a little bit of my passion, and then what I'm just really motivated to help more female entrepreneurs to really stand out and then be who they're meant to be. Yeah,
that's absolutely amazing. Because we know a lot of people do not show up because of something to do with how they look or what they feel. So that's amazing. But how did you get into how did you become an image consultant?
Right. So it's a long story short. So just to kind of give you a preview my career life. So I have always been in the fashion and the beauty industry for the past 16 years. And of course, I would say entrepreneur, it wasn't really part of my plan. And I was previously working in corporate, and then I've done a lot of different things. I actually started my career as a professional makeup artist. And then so I working toward the fashions, and then I did my master's, and then I lived a period of time in Europe. And so my whole time I was really just working as a stylist, and then got into of course merchandising, buying, and then design, blah blah. My goal was really getting to the corporate eventually, and then ladder up, and then to become my goal is be some kind of art director eventually. But of course sometimes things don't always plan out the way you want it. And there's always when life hit at you a curveball, and you just things happens. And then of course I would say during the last few years I have some struggles, and it definitely wasn't as easy because previously when I moved to Toronto, at the time I was living in Montreal, but due to many personal reasons, and I have always counseling, I had to restart again. And then long story short, back in I think it was 2009, I was working for a corporate at the time, and then I got laid off. And then it was definitely part of the signal, but it wasn't something that I was like, okay, you know what, it's okay, things happen. But of course, at that time, I started to feel like, I have always worked so hard, and then I feel like, I devote all my time to work. Because career, it's really everything I do. For me, it's career is really top of my priorities, which is honestly wasn't really the right thing to do. But and then I think that at the time was, okay, you know what, I have to carry on. I have to reality. Entrepreneur is not something I really thought about it or go ahead and then pursue. Anyway, and then so I started to find another job really quickly, and then just and then I think that has started to kind of like inner calling, of course. And then my husband, because he has a job that he travel a lot, and then so I think there was also lots of time, like I think 2019, I was also suffering from anxieties, and I spent a lot of time just work, and then alone, isolated. And then, which of course at the time I really didn't have the time and then patient to even check in with my own health. And then of course a little bit prior to pandemic, then we have to relocate it. And then so when I relocated again 2020 in Toronto, I was like, okay, I think this is enough. Like I cannot just, literally every time, few years I restart, I moved and then I restart. And then, of course, I took a lot of time in 2020 to heal myself and really just to redefine who I wanted to be. And then, so when I started to my image consultancy, part of it was really I kind of do a lot of self-reflection of thinking, okay, back then when I used to work in cosmetics, and I really enjoy, educating women. I really love the transformation of helping women to feel good and confident. And knowing that, okay, that was part of the thing I've always been doing. So I just knew that when I want to do that image consultant, I didn't want to do something that is too superficial, just looking good from the outside. I wanted to really also tap into more about the inner who you are, because when I was working in corporate, I think I have also gone through, that superficial part, and I didn't always feel comfortable, and then didn't feel also that's really who I really am, and then of course didn't really match my identity. But because my environment is very fast paced, and then it's fashions, and then it's all about looking good, and then but sometimes the inner piece is really missing. So when I started it, I knew that I wanted to really help women who are really struggling with the confidence issue, and then also part of it is like, they have lost their identity, and really also just to help, they wanted to be seen, to be stand out. So that was kind of, I started to shift online. And of course, you learn throughout the journey, and getting online, being confident on camera, recording videos, YouTubes, those was really new, even though I knew what I've been doing. But, when you have to shift that mindset from the employee mindset to an entrepreneur, it's not something people have taught you. At least is, even though my parents, they are like entrepreneurs, they have their own business, but they never really taught me so, right? So I just always, okay, this is not really part of my plan. So of course, but I really got that it have taken a lot of time, and then I think knowing who I am, and then really on the mission, and just want to help a lot of women, because I knew that a lot of women, we all have something are very special, but sometimes is that as a woman, I think we have that masculine and feminine side, and you're really always trying to find the balance, but you want to be seen and you want to look good for yourself. You want to impress yourself, but they may not know how. They may not have the tools, or they have the system, or maybe they are a coach, but maybe there are things that are missing, that they're not getting seen, they're not getting the visibility. So I think this is where I have found my strengths, and really want to help a lot of women, like we all have a gift to shine. And then I think that's why I believe, when women are really collaborating, being open-minded, and then I think that's why we need more women to be in charge in the business world, I personally think, right? And then just have more female leaders. And then I think that's definitely one of my missions, to have more female leaders in the workplace, and then so
Yeah.
when we do so, then I think we live in a better in a better place. So that's
Yeah.
kind of like, a little bit of my story. I mean, like, kind of got into too much detail, but thank you so much. Thank you
Okay.
so much, Nina.
Okay, so you said something that's very, very important, because a lot of times when people get dressed up and they put on their makeup and they
Yeah,
look amazing,
yeah,
underneath that they are suffering. And I think it's very, very important that when we put on all that we put on and we go out there, it's important that we are not covering up who we are, but enhancing who we are, right? So you said that you didn't want the business to be just about looks and makeup.
yeah.
How do you manage to incorporate both? What's your process? How do you help women to feel good inside and outside, to heal inside and outside through makeup and clothing? This is I really need to how do you
Okay, so
make that transition?
yeah, so I think I'll use my own personal story, because I think everyone is different, right? And everyone has a different way of, self healing. But because
Thank you, Nina.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I was just saying thank you to Nino.
Oh, thank you. So, so for me, I have always been very intuitive person, but I personally think that we all do, but we are so afraid. I think also as a woman, we overthink. I think a lot. I analyze a lot, and then I am very rational thinker. I think of every small little details, and sometimes in a way it's not too good, because you become like a robot. I'm not as loose. I wasn't like that, of course, in my 20s, but when you're in your 30s, you think differently, you function differently, and then life is not always the same. But so I the last several years, before becoming beauty an entrepreneur, I used to be like very systematic. Okay, and then I'm like, okay, I need to do this, and then I always overthinking every single step. Okay, and then I realized I wasn't really happy. I mean, just like, oh my God, and then I also think because of the societies, of putting us in, I mean, as a woman, we have so many different responsibility, and you just start to label yourself, and it's just so tiring. And then let's talk about, yes, we look at other people are doing, what are they doing, their progression. And I used to do that a lot, always just like checking on other people, and then wonder why I'm not there. I want to be like my former boss. I want to be so I struggled a lot. And then so last year, and then before, I was like, okay, I started to incorporate, I think, meditations. I've been doing yoga years, but I wasn't really big on meditation because I get so distracted. And I started to really learn, checking myself. I started to learn about, what is my thoughts, of course, and it really telling me. And sometimes it gets so scary because you need to answer and then feel so insecure, things that you have in your head. And then we have different kind of thoughts, at least I think like thousands of thoughts, right? And then, but the moment is, how are you really so checking with yourself? And then I think that is one of the biggest things as a woman. So I've learned to really just checking with myself, even though there's some noise, but I learned, why do I have those kind of noise? And then how can I really break it free? So I realized that having that, routine is become very important for me. My meditation, I have to do yoga. It made me feel more grounded, in a way that I can really just be present and then really learn to just be grateful. And then I wasn't, to be quite honest, I wasn't as grateful. I just always feel taking things more granted. And then I was a bit more selfish. So those years, of course, I had some issue with the health and then anxiety, lots of personal reasons. And then so it really helped me to kind of like check in with myself. And then, that makes it easier for me to prepare myself. And then I always knew, because I want to send out a good positive vibe. And in overall, I'm a very optimistic and I'm very energetic person. But I also know that, when I need to show up, I don't show up for others. I first have to learn to show up for myself. So that becomes and the power weapons for me is that I need to get up, I need to dress, because it's a way of self-motivation. I don't go anymore as the last couple of years, even during pandemic. Lots of people, oh my God, who's caring? Like, no one's gonna see us. Let's just put pajama. But then I just couldn't function. So I knew at some part, I don't need to get fully dressed up, but I just have to have the routine, getting myself dressed up, get changed. I need to put some little bit of makeup. It's a way of self-motivation and self-effort, because a lot of things, what we do is you got to do it for yourself. No one's going to push you, right? No one's going to tell you, okay, you got to get up and then you got to push yourself, do the live, you got to put your makeup, blah, blah. You got to start, become your own engine, because if you don't, no one's going to push you. Your parents, your boyfriend, your husband, your child, not going to do that for you. So you got to do that drive for yourself. And I think that's why for me, it's a motivation of putting myself all together. I'm not saying that I need to look fancy all the time, but I want to look presentable, because it's part of the image that I want to give out to people. And then I feel like when I'm showing up for myself, it makes it easier for people to show up for them. And I'm not trying to, I think this year. Exactly. So, yeah. So for myself, like even for 2022 this year, I say to myself, you know what? I don't want to hear anymore what other people are saying, because like there's different kind of version A to Z. But at the end of the day, we are all on a different journey anyway. You have your story, I have my story, I have different experiences. So why are we even trying to compare anyway? And eventually, we're going to get into different journeys. Whatever your last chapter is not going to be the same as my last chapter. So, but the whole point, I want to do is really just to help more women, like just stop shining yourself away, because I think, I actually want to write an article, but I haven't. I'm talking about potential, because I think putting yourself together, looking good and feel confident and feel comfortable, it's not about like you need to dress up and putting designer clothing all the time, right? Because I used to be a bit more superficial. I'm like, when I used to work in corporate, and I would be like, oh my God, next day I need to go work. What I have to wear? Oh my God. Every month or every few weeks, I feel like I have to go buy something, because I need to get impression from others. I need to get like compliment. And then in a way, it's like when people say, oh, hey, this looks so good. Oh, what are you wearing? Oh, what kind of design? And then for me, it becomes so stressful. So
because now you have to keep up.
Exactly, and I really just don't want to keep up. I dress up for myself and want to look confident and then embrace who I am. But I don't need to go and showing up like, oh my God, like all the time, like 365 days, I'm having a different outfit, because it becomes not enjoyable. So I enjoy like putting myself together and dressing up, and it's a way of showing my professionalism and showing the way how I show up, because I feel good about myself and I feel confident with my own skin. And I'm not trying to look at other people, because there's just too many great people, and there are too many all kind of people out there. And then I think the end of it, just learn to be yourself, and then just be kind, and then do what really your heart tells you. So for me, I realize that, for me, dressing up, putting myself together, it's a way of self-respect as well, right? So I think when you see yourself, it's a way of like, you're encouraging yourself. So I actually want to share this. It's actually very important. Whenever you have days, like self-image is something you have to learn to boost it for yourself. So if you have a day you don't feel like it, find a way of like, when no one's tapping on your shoulder, do it for yourself. And you're like, hey, Sharika, you are doing so well. You look beautiful today. Get dressed. And I've been starting to incorporate that. I'm like, hey, when no one's turning on you, you got to do it for yourself. And it's true.
That is important that you said that about dressing up, right? Because I am one of those persons. I wasn't superficial, but I also didn't really care much about what I wore. I just put on anything. 3/4 of the time, I didn't put myself together great. And it impacted how I felt about myself a lot. It impacted how I felt about myself. And then I started doing this work, and it says, be the person who you want to be tomorrow today. Dress the way you want to dress tomorrow today. Feel good about yourself. And then I noticed that the more I take an effort, even if I'm not putting on something fancy, but maybe I iron my shirt, it makes me feel so much better than, and now if my toe is not looking so great and I don't feel good about walking, I wear closed-toe shoes instead of not caring any at all, because it impacts how we feel. When you step out there, it impacts how you feel, and it's not about being superficial. It's about securing yourself and feeling like you have a purpose and you feel like you exist on a whole different level. It affects your mental state of being, so to speak. So, I often read your posts on LinkedIn, right? And
yes,
there was a very, very important. We don't have a lot of time, so let me see if we can get through this quickly.
Yes, yes.
Dressing, fixing your face, wearing your makeup according to the shape of your face.
Right.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yes. Okay. So, I mean, we're all talking about personal brand, right? So your face is your campaigns. So this is the first thing that people are going to pay attention. And I think that personal branding is powerful more than ever, but it's all about how you're showing up. How are you dressing for yourself? And how are you projecting yourself in what you do? So you will be able to get the attraction. And as a woman, I think that's important by knowing, because this is the face. And then when you showing up in front of, online, camera, doing video, or in life, this is the first thing people see you. And impressions are always going to be important. Your first impression is the first way of how people are going to like you, even they don't do business with you. But the first thing is when you doing the right way of taking your appearance, you have a higher chance of getting promotion, getting more businesses. So I'm actually going to show you. So I want to show you, okay, this is the only way I'm going to try to see if I can do it. Wait, let me see view. I want to see if I can find a chart. Maybe I could or maybe not. Maybe a little bit difficult. Okay, I don't think I'm able to do it. I was actually want to do a share, but I'm having a difficulty of putting the slides. So bear with me, guys. Kind of new on this, but okay, I don't think I'm able to. All right, okay. So you know what? I'm gonna just do. I'm just gonna explain it in person, and then I'll recommend everyone to go look at my slide. And then I talked. There's the common 6 face shapes. Okay. So the first one in general is like oval, right? There's 6 type of face shapes. So oval, rectangle. You have heart shape. You have squares. And you have I think there's another one is, I talk about square, heart shape, oval, and then lawns. You have a lawn face, and then the diamonds. So those are the 6 face shapes. The reason, just like our bodies, we have different body type, right? So same thing with our face. So just also different skin colors as well, right? So the reason why understanding your face shapes, it's very important, because it helps you to also learn how to do makeup in a very simple way. Okay, so I think is I want to just give you a little bit quick tips. We're not going to get into too detail, because that's going to break down with lots of when it comes to, makeup and how to take care of your skin. But in general, it's all about measurements, right? So you want to understand, think about if you have a diamond face shape, what is your face going to usually look like? So it's like diamond, so you're really shaped up, your bottoms is like a diamond. And then your foreheads are usually a bit more, your foreheads is pretty much high, like a high forehead. Okay, so in the way of this, like how are you wearing your makeup, for example? So you want to make sure that the whole is about creating an illusions of where to put your blush, where to do contouring, and how you can still look very natural in the way, right? And then in a way, there's always first thing I want to show to tell women, learn to know where's your cheekbones. Okay, so you have a high cheekbone or you have no cheekbones, okay? And really learn to touch your face. I think that's very important. And then what is your, in terms of your jaw, like where is it? Okay, that's another thing that's very important. Because when you know where your face shape, like, okay, for example, I have a higher face shape. So you know where to really do the replacements of putting products on. Okay, and then also understand your eyes, right? What kind of eye shape you have, and then in the way you know how to apply the makeup. So, for example, by looking at you, I can tell that you have a very high forehead, right? So you really don't want to having to increase in terms of thinking about proportions, right? So you don't want to be showing too much because it's going to make your forehead even longer. So instead, like what you did, the way how you wear your hairs, you kind of cover it up. And then you can really learn to contouring by bringing up more of your cheek, right? And in this way, people pay attention when you're talking, when you are smiling, people pay attention on around your cheekbone and your eyes, right? And then of course, when you think about contouring, I always say that you have beautiful cheekbone, first of all, Sharika. So it's a way of you can learn by contouring very simple way, right? And then so it really brings out even your lower jaw as well, right? So those are the simple things, like learning how to, identify where are your cheekbone. Do you have a high cheekbone? Do you have a low cheekbones, right? And then where's your forehead in terms of the measurements? Okay, is your forehead is higher than your lower chin? That's another way of really understand, what does your face shape look like? And then in the way, okay, what do you want to enhance? I always talk about some problems and common issue when women are trying to wear makeup, because on YouTube or on Instagram, those people are influencers, they do that for a living. But as an everyday woman, there's no way you're gonna spend you have kids, you have life. There's no way you're gonna spend an hour doing that kind of makeup. But you can become very efficient and look good even when you have an online presence. You don't need to spend a lot of time. It's only, you just need to do 10 minutes, literally less than 10 minutes. All you have to do is just, of course, I think the easiest way, okay, if you're not someone who's heavy on makeup, a little bit just an eyeliner, I would just think is the easy, and then your brows. And then brows, make sure your brows and then liners, and then also depend on your skin tone as well, right? So really learn about how to enhance your eyes. That's very important. And then really just enhance on your cheek. And then of course finish a lip, because the lip is it's gonna make you or break you. So you want to make sure that the lip color always enhance your skin complexions. That's gonna bring you, light. So when I talk about light, think about light is attracting. When you wear a color that is not attracting light, you look dull. You look like not a lot of full of energy. Think about it. So always think about those are the tricks that when you're applying makeup, make it simple for you that work for your routine. But there are just a few things, wearing the color that's going to enhance your eye shape, wear the lip color that's actually not going to make you look sick or tired, wear a color that really going to help you pop, because that is the first thing when people going to pay attention, and then in the square that we are on the digital era, it's your face and your upper bodies, right? So your body, your movement, your face is so important. So those are just a little tricks I want to share with you in terms of how you can really learn, just play with your face, but still make it comfortable and be you. Yeah.
So basically, what you've described is creating some kind of symmetry between the lower part and the upper part of your face.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So okay, let's put you on the spot a little bit. Take my eyes, for example. I love just doing, sometimes I don't put on any foundation or anything like that
Yeah.
at all. All I do is I put on eyeliner, top and bottom, and I do my eyebrows and my lip liner, and that's it.
Yeah.
How do I enhance my eyes more than I'm doing now? Because I suck at makeup.
So I always say that you need to think about women who are you watching right now. Think about what is this thing that you want to enhance. So think about two of your best features. That's
Okay.
always I say to my clients, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then so think about what are your two best features you want to enhance. So let's say, do you want to enhance your brow or your eyes, or you want to enhance your lips or your cheek, or you know whatever you find the most attractive that you want to enhance. So pick up two things that you want to enhance your face, and then once you do that, right? So for example, I'll say you have a beautiful eyes, you have a beautiful brows. Okay, use that as your feature. And most women always I want to enhance my eyes, right? But you want to make sure you are keeping it again proportional. So if you're enhancing your brows and your eyes, that's already taking two things. You want to make sure your cheek and your lips are a little more settled. Okay, so instead, so let's say we're doing live. It's a very everyday. We're not going for cocktail parties, So you don't want to wear something that is too smoky. You want to make sure that I would say keep it even just very light. Wear some color. I think you can wear color less gray. I think the color you have is more grayish. Okay, it's more like so I would say you can even wear color that's a little bit more metallic. It can be even gold. Gold will look good for your skin tone, or even stuff color. I think like I have to bring my color palette back. But the whole point is wearing color that actually is gonna make you look, I think, less smoky than what you have. So learn to bring up the light. So you can bring anything with sheen to it, and then any color that has, I think, like anything have the shimmer, to have gold in there, or metallics, or even if you want to do those kind of smoky, but bring it as a more silver tone, but less grayish. Do something that has more higher pigmentation, but less matte. Then you can, because I think what you have is a lot of gray, and then it's more matte. So instead, try to use color that has more metallics, and then bringing more like light into your eyes. So it looks less heavy, So that's what I would recommend. And then, of course, when you're also wear lip color, so you want to make sure that it's always about contrasting, right? So if you already have a lighter eye makeup, then you keep your lip a little bit more solid. So you don't want to have too much contrast as well. So it's all about finding the contrast and the balance. So that is like the next thing I would recommend. So really learn first if you want to enhance your brows. Then keep your eyes maybe not as heavy, right? And then you can really enhance with your lip color, but you keep your eyes a little bit more softer. So it looks less serious. So the whole point is you want to project a friendly image, but not looking so serious. So that's what I would recommend. Yeah.
Sweet. I love it. Thank you so much. That was awesome. I have to rewatch this so that I can get all of that.
Yeah.
But, okay, so we've looked at the facial part of the image, right? How about dressing for your body type? I think a lot of women would want to know how to dress for their body type. I'm not heavy in any part of my body. I'm kind of like petite, so I'm not really heavy in any part. But I know we have women who are heavier on top, heavier in the hips, or so and so on. So how do you dress for your body type?
Okay, so I mean, this is another big topic, but I'm gonna just narrow it down and make it short and sweet. And then I definitely recommend that if you're interested to learn more about how to dress up for your image, and I have posts that actually on my Instagram as well that talk about like different type of body shapes and how do you dress for your body, and then what to wear. So I'll say, like, again, go back to typical body shapes. Okay, so most of in general, we have 5 type of body shape, right? So of course, I don't really like to use it, fruit to name women, but we'll say like inverse triangles, right? So inverse triangle. So, and then of course the pear shape, which is like triangle. So you know that you're a little more bottom heavy. And then of course you have the apple, which is, I would say, more curvy. So you have a lot of volumes, on your tummy and then your thigh. So you're more rounded. I would say just more rounded. And of course you have typical like the square shapes, which is like people who are usually more athletic. So like you are you don't have lots of like internal proportional, you're fine, but you don't have like, maybe no hips, and then you have no waist. It's really a straight lines, right? And then of course the oval. Right, oval is real. Literally, you have curvy. Just I'll say like for Beyonce or Kim Kardashian, those type of people, they're really a lot of volume, and then they're also very slim on the waist as overall. So those are people who have like really beautiful oval shapes, right? And then of course, most women, we don't have ideal body shape because let's be honest, once you give birth and then you're 20 and you're 30, metabolism is going to be different. But learning how to, again, embrace your body shape, knowing what is your best features. Just like I talk about your face, learn what is your best that you want to embrace for your body. So for example, if you have found that, oh, I have a very nice chest, so learn to embrace it, don't cover it, right? And then also think about the proportion. I think the most women, we are so afraid to be seen. So we always like, okay, even though you can be curvy, maybe bottoms, a little bit more volume, which is okay. You can learn to wear stuff that is really flattering your body shape instead of like covering. That's 2 different things. Covering means that, okay, I'm just going to put black. I'm going to put black head to toe. And then I'm going to wear size that is probably going to be twice bigger than myself. But again, you're making yourself look even bigger. So I would say don't do that. Because the whole time when you're doing that, you're also kind of camouflaging, you're not feeling comfortable to be seen. That is actually, when you actually part of it, I read psychologically, it's proven a lot of women, they are not feeling comfortable. So they rather just to wear colors that is more very muted, very dark and black. And then they will probably go for 1 size or 2 sizes bigger because they just feel not comfortable. Right. So those are things, of course, there's a lot of inner work. When you want to wear something, you also want to feel comfortable. But it's really understand, okay, where are the area that you can camouflage in a way of like not showing, but you can still embrace your curve. Those are 2 different things. Okay. So we all have area we don't feel comfortable. But it's really like, okay, how can you camouflage but embrace the area you feel very confident? Okay. I think that's the next thing that you really understand. And of course, think about proportion. I also think that proportion is very important. If you know your body, are you someone, even though lots of people always think that, oh, petite shape, so I'm petite, right? But petite doesn't mean you're skinny though. Doesn't mean that, petite can be, you're under 5'3" or 5'4", but you can be curvy, right? Because women are all different shapes. So you have to understand what is your proportions and then what type of body you are. And then once you know, also ask yourself, do you have high torso or short torso? You have, longer legs and those kind of things, or shorter legs. So for me, I have very high torso and then I have short legs. I'm just gonna be honest. And then so I'm 5'3", but my proportion is just, I have higher torso. So I used to want to wear jeans because and then I have hips, I have curve, and then I just wish I have skinnier legs, right? And then, of course, when I used to work with models, I'm like, damn, why I want to have those legs, and then I want to tone like them. But again, that's just what it is. That's what is given to me. But learn how to wear, choose the right pants, choose the right bottoms. That's actually going to enhance you. So I think, again, so once you know, then it makes it easier. So for example, is women who tend to be a bit curvier, you have a lot, like you have hip and you have curve, and then you're more wider. You can find pants that are very comfortable, such as pants that are a little bit more fluid, so flowy, and then middle to high rise, and then even though you may not have the skinny legs. So go for something that's more flowing. So I'm trying to think, do I have a pants like that? Oh, I might be able to show you this, for example. Just for example. So you can wear like a paper pants, right? So these are like really flowy. So I always like to wear stuff that's more flowy because I don't feel comfortable to wear stuff that's very tight on me. And then so I always make sure that if I do, I wear stuff that's more flowy on me, and then it looks a bit loose. And so you can choose pants that is more flowy, like flowy, and then you can move around, for example. And then
Kiana is so funny.
I know. So for example, those are just like few tips of learning how to choose different type of silhouette that work for you, right? And then of course, I think there's even like, for example, you can wear stuff. So for me, like I don't like to wear stuff that's super bodylicious and then sit on my skin because I just don't feel comfortable. So I always choose like, you can also choose something that is more flowy, so even though it sit on your waist, and even people you're curvy, the pleated skirt is good because these are also flowing around, right? So there's just another way of how you can choose your garments. So I think the whole point is really understand, what is your body's shape looks like right now. And then I think another thing is really stop yourself thinking, oh, hey, I need to lose some weight. And then again, we're in winter right now. And then I don't know where your situation. So we'll be, back to normal again because we had a lockdown a couple of weeks ago. So again, I just think that we always hear, I need to lose more weight, and then I can be like this by springtime. I'm going to be, so we put things on hold all the time. So my suggestion is just start to dress right now. Just like start to enjoy life right now. Because I also used to do, I need to be like this in order to do like that and then that. So I just think sometimes we have so many excuses and we just stop ourselves from living. So it's the same way of just start to dress for yourself little by little and then baby step, right? So when you feel good about it, as where you are, you can move forward instead of thinking, okay, months, I need to be like this and then that. Do what works for you. I think that's the most important part. So, and of course, it's quite another topic, but I'm just gonna give a little bit few tips when it comes to colors, right? So I think colors.
That was gonna be my next question.
Yeah, so I kind of think that probably that's the thing you want to actually ask me. So colors, I love colors, and then I think colors are really, when it comes to personal brand, is the way how people are going to remember you, right? We talked about, again, like your face and the way you show up, and then what colors are really representing you for your identity and your personality. Excuse me. So talking about signature colors, I think that we all have a signature color. It's like a power color. When you wear a power color, it literally, just think about the leader. I always like to use that. When you look on, female leaders, they always have a signature color that they wear all the time. When they wear that color, somehow it's like, oh my God, they're in charge. The way they're showing up is different, right? So understand what color really flattering you and use that as your weapon, use that as your power color. And how do you do so? By, again, understand, your skin undertone. So knowing what is your skin undertone, and then another most easiest thing you can do is, before you go invest by something, look at a color. Always do the color that sit on you. Like, is the color making you look good, or is the color that make you look like stick again? So in general, why I'm trying to find color that is really going to make you pop, because you want to wear color that, again, enhance your skin. So for instance, I'm just going to see what I can find. Okay, I'll use
Kiana, you're
I'll just use this. I'll just use a red, for example. So red, like, so I know, for example, I use myself, right? I don't go for a lot of like deep and dark reds, okay, because I know that it's gonna make me look a little bit more too serious. So I always go for red, either they're like a true red or a little bit red with orange on the tone. So I know that, okay, always think about when you wear something matching on your skin tone. Does it make you look great? Does it make you look popping? Or does it make you look washed out? Those are the tips that when you wear colors, think about what kind of color that work for you. And there's warm color palette, there's also cool color palettes. So by understand what type of season you are, what kind of colors tone work for you the best. It makes it easier for you to choose color tone. Because even when you look at makeup, you look at clothing, there's all kind of colors all blended together, right? Not all the colors gonna look good on you. It might look good on social media, on somebody, influencer, whatever, but it may not look good on you. And that's why there's a myth when you look at something on the mannequin, when you look on whoever on Instagram or YouTubers or whatever, it look good on them. But when you actually purchase, sometimes there's a misconception, it may not look good on you. So having to know what color works for you is go back to understand what is your color tone, what's your, your undertone, meaning are you someone who has a warm or you have a cool? And then once you know, then it makes it easier for you to choose the right colors that will flatter you. Yeah.
Okay, so now I have to ask this question, right?
Yeah.
What about those of us who are color dum-dums? We are completely clueless about how this color thing and this undertone and all of that fancy talk. How do we even begin to choose those colors if we're clueless?
So I would say, did I just do something? Okay, so for those that if you're not very good with colors, so I would say go back, just think about, okay, use example, when you were elementary, right? And then I always use this questions. So you always have a favorite color, right? And then the most basic part, start with 2 colors. Don't go crazy. Okay, if you're not someone who's like knowing colors, how to wear color yet, don't go for something too extreme. Yes, but instead of going from black, think about what are the next essential colors. So I like to use an example. Think about the classic black and white. Never go wrong, right? Because black and white is always a classic combo. You can wear a white and you can wear black pants, but instead of going another black blazer, it's classics, okay? But if you want to just to wear the color with the more fun, think about it. Maybe you can add some red. When I say red, it doesn't mean it needs to be, adding another, it can be accessory, right? So you can wear black and white, and then you can pop, like for accessory, adding a little bit of red. So you keep it, color consistent, but you have a pop color. When I say pop color, it can be the color that's really popping the black and white, because black and white is more like neutral, right? You have one neutral, they're just neutral tone. So you want the color really enhance the white and the black, for example, right? So I always like to use example, but let me see what I can find. So for instance, because I can find, okay, I'll use this, for example. Okay, I'll just use this dress, right? So this is a dress, it's black. So, of course, I can easily do, for example, let's just do this. So, nothing wrong when you just wear black, guys. I think this is fun. Instead of just doing black, right? So, you see a lot of black and black, right?
Right.
So, if you do another darker necklace, you cannot see any color contrast, right? So, when I talk about color contrast, so there are 2 ways you can either do. So, of course, I'm going to find, I have a yellow necklace. I'm going to just do this right now. So, so you can do like this right away. So, this become your pop color. So, when I say pop color, it doesn't mean you need to add. It can be accessories. Start with accessory. It can be also earrings, right? So, this become a pop color that really pop your black, right? So, of course, you can also do another way as I was talking. So, black and white, or do a black, then you can just do the, let me show this. So for instance, I keep it black, and then I have the reds, right? So red and black, and then I enhance with the yellows. So that's another way of doing it, right? So you always want to think, when you wear color, start with the basic essential colors, and then what is the color which we talk about signature color that actually going to enhance the neutral color. So when you want to experience, start with just accessories, instead of going crazy, start with baby step. Okay, and then this again, learn how to tone down. You don't want to go too crazy because it's all about balance, and then it's all part of your image. So I hope that that makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, that was absolutely phenomenal. You are awesome. I'm just here taking you in, enjoying this conversation, seeing all the crazy comments from Tiana. So great. So I have to ask though,
Yeah.
you've been doing this for a while. How
Yeah.
and you've been able to help people transform their lives in terms of how they look and feel. How would you describe the transformation that happens when someone starts to create the symmetry in their with their face and put the right colors on and contrasting? What kind of difference does that make?
I would say go back to the confidence part, because I think the transformation is really, it's all about building the confidence in women. Because when I think I really also believe that a lot of time that what we wear is how we represent ourselves, how we want to be seen. So it's also that a woman is, when they're willing to step toward and forward, you're also taking that skin, like peeling off, right? So things that really no longer serve them, they don't feel comfortable, and you're taking out that insecurity. And then a part of this really insecurities, and then that transformation is they're really embracing, you're taking out the skins off. I personally, I would say myself too, right? So even though I can look so confident outside, but there was a moment I feel very insecure inside. But when you're doing that transformation, there's a lot is also the mindset. And then there's a lot of therapy work, because you're changing their look. They're trying color that they never worn before. And when I used to work in cosmetic, a lot of women say, oh, no, I cannot wear that color. Oh, no, that color is too much. Oh, that lipstick, I will never wear that. Oh, no. So it's a lot of things that always say no. But why not just go and try, just say yes and try it? Because at the end of the day, it's not like tattoo. It's not like it's going to get on your skin. You have to just like try it. And then you try, you don't like it, you can take it out, right? So lots of times that transformation is when women are ready, they're like, okay, I want to have a change, but they're still kind of holding back. But it's about a lot of comforting, because you need to do a lot of consulting with them, make them feel really comfortable. And not a lot of women can just start to open it up. It takes time. Even myself too, right? When we try something, it takes time to be comfortable with a person. So that transformation is really, when they try a color, it instantly makes them lift. Maybe the lipstick color, maybe, the eyeshadow colors, and then adding just a little bit blush. They'll be like, oh my God, I can be like this. Oh my God, my skin can look so beautiful. Oh my God, my lines are gone, So those are that's a part of the transformation. And then when they wear something that make them feel like, oh my God, I cannot see myself. Let's say if I'm just a mother, I always have kids around me, and then they're always like, crying, and then they're eating food, and then like it's all over. They don't feel good. But when you're taking them off from that setting, they're putting something that makes them feel so good. It's really flat, their body shape. It's literally, you see the light on their face, that happiness and the confidence. And I would say also you find their sexiness as well, because they feel sexy again. They feel like they are being seen. And that is all part of like all these ingredients when you actually put it in the women's, and right away they feel like, oh, I'm being seen, I'm being noticeable. So I think that is definitely part of like in terms of the transformation of how little thing, we put it on every single day can do such a booster when it comes to women's confidence. Yeah.
Oh, Claire, you have been absolutely phenomenal. I have one more question for you.
Yes.
And so we are living in physical homes, but we exist in a virtual world, right?
Yeah.
Because we are here talking now, this, and we're having an amazing conversation. It's as if we're actually sitting in front of each other. Mm-hmm. But I was reading one of your posts, and you said, make sure you do a personal branding photo shoot.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that. Are you supposed to have specific poses? What's that? What's a personal branding photo shoot? What is that?
Right. So I'll keep it short. So when I say like personal branding photo shoot, it means that we are always learning to be better, to elevate. And when you start to build a business, you're solo entrepreneurs, right? So you may not have the budget. You might do just selfie, and then you might do a lot of things with your phones, right? So it doesn't look as professional, but it's okay. You can do it in the short time periods. But I always think about yourself. Put your foot in other people's shoes. When you see someone has a professional photo shoot, isn't it more convincing? Like, it's a yes or no. What do you think in terms of when you see people who have a more professional photo shoot, and then they put that power suits, whatever, it makes you feel like, oh, okay, I may not buy from her, but damn, she look good, she look professional. In that, right away in your mind, you have that conceptions, right, of that person's, right? So perception, it's a way of how we want to create. And you can learn to control your perception of how you want to be seen, okay? And that's why when I say professional photo shoot, you don't need to have a fancy photo shoot, but it's the whole point is, if you're doing 6 months and then to 1 year, and then you've been getting some business, great. But the next thing is, okay, we always want to elevate, right? And then involve. So that being said, if you want people to buy a high ticket coaching programs to buy from you, people are also paying attention, which is like the little details. How are you showing up? Well, how is your profile photo? They will go and look at social medias, right? So you want to make sure that your online presence is part of your resume. So having a personal professional photo shoot, I'm not saying like you have to do it like so often, but once you invest that professional photo shoot, you feel you're in charge, you feel more power because you look professional, you look like, hey, I'm in business, okay? And then the way how you're showing up, it looks different. People pay more attention. So that's why it's important to have a professional photo shoot. And it's all come down to, okay, a profile for your headshot for your business, and also the lifestyle photo shoot, right? So those are the two different kind of portraits, right? So in terms of like LinkedIn is a professional platform. So you want to look more professional because, and then in the way you can use that across different social media. And then that headshot, when people see that professional headshot, they see you on whatever you use, it, Twitter or Instagram, YouTube, anywhere. They recognize that photo. They'll be like, hey, I remember her face. I mean, not know, but I see that photo. I know that color. Oh, so when they go to somewhere else, they see it again, so they remembers. So that's why it's important to have a professional photo shoot, because it's a way of how you're being memorized and how you're getting recognized. So in a way, it's also think about when you want to invest somebody who's trying to sell you $1,000 high coaching program, you kind of also think, it doesn't look so professional, and then the person talking, and it doesn't look so presentable. So that comes down to, how are you packaging your brand and how are you showing up online? And I think those are things that more than ever, we are all our own brands, right? So you have the power and you can control of how you want to be seen. So that's what is very important, because even when you go for interview, you're not going to just wear anything you want, right? You will also pay the effort when you used to work in the corporate as well. You will pay time and effort thinking about what I need to wear, how I need to talk, okay, what the job looks like. I wanted to, make sure that I am also the top candidates, right? So you all do all this work. So why would you do differently when you're actually building your business, right? Maybe you do want to show your personality, of course, but at the end of the day, you also want, if your goal, I think everyone has different goal, but if your goal is eventually you want to build, this high coaching program, you want to make more impact, and then you want to get noticeable, get attention. Those are the little things all come down. How are you being seen and how are you packaging yourself? Yeah. So I hope that kind of makes sense.
Oh yeah, that made perfect sense. It definitely made sense. You've been awesome, Claire. I love this conversation. I learned a ton, and I'm sure I'm not alone. So thank you so much for coming on here. I know I said I had one more question, but I actually have more than one. we're
Okay.
past
I don't know.
that.
Do we have any audience that have question? I wasn't quite sure. I know that we have people who
I
are.
didn't see any questions.
Okay, so people
I
are just
just
like
saw.
listening, and then because I cannot see anything, I'm just if you don't stop me, I'm just gonna keep talking. But I don't know if there's any questions. But yes, okay.
That's okay. It shows that you're passionate about what you do, and that's what we're here. We're here to share and to help people up level. So I don't have a problem with you telling all. Where I like diving in there, so you're great. But how do you teach your clients to differentiate between who they are and who the makeup and the clothes might make them out to be? As in, how do you help them to not get attached to too much, what's that word you use? Superficiality.
Okay.
Yeah, how do you do that?
Yeah, so I feel like this is a great question, in which you kind of went back to when we first started the conversations, right? So by knowing who you are, and a lot of times that, in general speaking, not everyone know who they really are, and of course it takes a lot of time and work and clarity, and then you know, who you think you are may not be who you're really going to become, right? So really look into that, your personality and your identity. And I always think that having a vision, right? You have a vision of who you would like to become eventually. I myself too, right? So I think having that projection, again, that go back to, okay, this is who I am right now. Okay, and I would like to be this. So for example, I previously have worked with a client. So she's a home, it's a mother stay at home. But she knows that she have a passion. She wants to be an educator, teaching people about, you know, sex and relationship. And then she was also struggling with her self-image. She didn't feel confident because she's more on the curvier side, right? And but I asked her, okay, so what do you really want to become, that image? And then so she started to draw a picture. Okay, this is where I am. I don't feel so comfortable. And then, but I have these visions. So you need to think about the identity, and then as who you are, and then where it's going to take you, and then have the vision. So I always ask my clients, right? So some women, they already know who they are. They're driven. It's like, oh, I need the help. Okay. And a lot of women, they maybe are doing transition. They may not know who they are yet. And then they're comfortable, but in a way, they are afraid of change as well. So that is another part of the psychological of like who you would like to see yourself to become. And then like, are you being comfortable and stepping to your comfort zone? I find is very different. Some people are comfortable just the way it is. They like the way how life it is. They're fine. But there's a type of person, they're just, oh, I want to step out my comfort zone, but I'm afraid to change. And then you hear excuses, and then stop in doing that. Then that means they're not happy with where they are, but they're afraid to make the change. That is two different type of personalities, okay? So first you need to really understand, okay, who you are, your identity, and then your personality, and why is stopping you. And then I think once I like to really get into the psychological part, because dressing up and playing yourself and then being comfortable of what you want to wear, it's really not just about superficial. You can easily go out and buy clothes. Okay, that's tons of lots of clothing out there. Okay, but it's not about just go and buy. You have to really first understand who you are from your inside, and then those clothes, or whatever makeup you put it on, it's just a way of empowering you to become who you want to be. Right. So, using an example, if you work in a supermarket and you're comfortable just the way it is, by all means, go for it. But if you work supermarket and you come back at home, you're sick, you're not feeling comfortable, you're always eating unhealthy, but you're just like, oh my God, I want to change, but you're afraid of change. You have something in your mind, but you have to also learn to implement and move forward. And then I think that's what is important when I work with clients. I think to really understand why you want to make a change. once you know, then it makes it easier. And then placing the vision, and then I would say getting the inspiration. And it makes it easier for me to do my job, because once I have that, then I can, just like putting puzzle, you have lots of things in your head, but I help you by putting everything together, taking the puzzle and putting together, and then to make you become who you want to become. And then I think that's why it's not superficial. It's all about like working toward who you want to be, rather than thinking, hey, I want to be such and such. But it also, you need to be realistic too, right? So I think that's very important as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Claire, because I wanted to ask that question because, as I said before, people like to cover themselves up and pretend that there's something that they're not. They hide behind the fancy clothes and the makeup and the lashes and the hair and all of that. So it's important that we bring that out, because you can be your own fabulous self and still put on your makeup and still dress nice and not be what the clothes makes you, but just be you. Claire, you've been so awesome. I want to throw my hands up on screen right now.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome, and thank you also. So I am finally at my final question, I think.
I hope we're not getting caught up, because it's almost like an hour. So
yeah.
So go ahead. Yeah.
Right. So what are some of the things that you say to yourself on a daily basis, outside of getting dressed up, outside of making sure that you're looking put together, before you even get to looking put together? What are some of the things that you do in the morning to ensure that you're in the right mindset, you're in the right headspace, you're ready to take on the world, your cup is full?
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you do to ensure that that's happening for you?
Okay. So I did say earlier, for those with you have not joined us on the beginning of the conversation. So I learned, especially I think during pandemics, and then I have incorporated, for me, it's, in the early morning when I wake up, I make sure that this year, especially, I told myself, okay, I need to work at my own pace. So I don't go crazy and then start looking. I would look at phone, but I don't go crazy and then start looking, my phone, So I make sure that I learn to have a stop, how to block myself. And then for me, it's like in the morning, I need to have my Zoom time. I really need to zen in. For me, it's very important. So having a time for myself just to really be grounded, which I do my yoga, and then I have to do my meditations. And then for me, it's very important. And then make me feel like, okay, I can breathe better and I can stay better. So I've worked really hard in terms of, my well-being. And then I also definitely become like more, I would say spiritual, but not like religious. For me, it's really just also more understand who I am. And then, of course, I would read, and then I listen, can be podcasts or short articles. I cannot do heavy readings. For me, it just doesn't work. I just need some few pieces, things that put me in, make me feel good. And then, of course, when I do that, and I think that it's important to really also, I think breakfast is so important. You got to have a big breakfast. And then I really learned to also, having craving is not good. I've also learned this year too, that because I used to have a craving. I always like, okay, I need to have 4 espresso, and then I'm like, that's the way how I can function. Then I realized, so I got COVID a couple of weeks ago, right? And then I was recovering. And then the whole time I did not have any caffeine. And I was like, oh, hey, sometimes you just think you need something, but you realize you really don't need it. So I started just like, hey, I think I can cut down caffeine, which when I love coffee. And then when I used to live in Milan, I was like, okay, coffee. So I realized that's another thing that, sometimes you think you might need something, but you don't really need it. So enjoying what you like, but don't get addicted to it. And then it can really help you. So you're not addicted or attached to anything in life, right? So I think that's another important thing I've learned. And then of course, I need to, for me, like putting my makeup is a way of like healing. For me, it's a therapy. And then putting clothes on, it's a way of making myself feel good when I have to start the day. And then, so that is also the way how I really start my morning routine. And then, so I hope that kind of, helps a little bit here and there too.
Yes, that answered the question perfectly because, hey, I am for a morning routine. I have a morning routine. I do it every day, and it's super, super powerful. So I get it completely. Claire, I want to say thank you so much for today. It was absolutely amazing. I'm sure everyone who joined us would agree that you were awesome. So thank you so much for coming, and I hope we can do some more collaborations.
Yeah,
together.
Definitely.
I mean, this conversation could continue for hours.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you for coming. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone who joined us. Thank you for the amazing comments. Thank you for the compliments. We certainly appreciate it. I'm sure Claire does as well. So thank you for the support. And I am here every Thursday having conversations like this, conversations to edify myself and you too. So join me next Thursday. I'll have another amazing guest to talk about something else that will help to make all of us better human beings and better individuals and better at our businesses and just better as being ourselves. And I look forward every week to this Thursday. And I just want to say, guys, purchase my book. It's called An Introduction to Freedom. And a lot of the things that we spoke about in terms of identity, your morning routine, not getting attached, this actually helps with that. So purchase a copy. The link is in my bio. Follow me here so that we can, so that you can see the shows that are coming up and connect with Claire. She's super awesome. And she'll teach you how to create facial symmetry.
Thank you so much, everyone. So if you have any questions, by all means, just send me a DM, and then you can find me on social media across LinkedIn, YouTube, or Instagram. I'm very active on Instagram, and just as Claire Image Coach. So thank you once again. I appreciate your time, and it has been a very great conversation. I enjoy a lot. So thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you too. You're welcome. All right, Claire. Bye.
Thank you. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Bye.